In one of these classes in a detox where they teach you skills to relax and not stay off of drugs, and when you have a stressful situation, how to deal with it without drugs, there's a technique that they showed me, but I was doing it all the way back at age 13. I'm going to explain what the technique is called, how you do it, and then I'll explain how I was doing it before I even knew what it was. So it's called grounding techniques. You ground yourself. The way you do that is you just get a heavy object like metal dice or a big silver dollar, or maybe you had one of those old fashioned, really heavy metal cars, toy cars, or anything really that really makes you feel more calm and relaxed. Most of the time, they're metal heavy objects, and you just stick it in your pocket. When somebody stresses you out, you just play with it in your hand or just hold it. Not sure why this works. There's a lot of science behind it. Um, there's a lot of like psychiatry behind it, but it works with most people. It's called grounding. Like I use just a silver dollar and I try to flip it between my fingers, or I just keep it in my pocket and I hold it, and that's it. And it doesn't really work that great. It's not the most great thing in the world. It's not no thing that you can barely see a difference in your anxiety or your ability to calm down or deal with issues. But I've met at least, I don't know, 40 other people that do this. I met some of them in detoxes, some of them on the street, some of them were children while growing up. But it's actually called grounding techniques. That's the right word for it. Grounding. You'll see people like, if you ever seen the old movies where they take a silver dollar and flip it between their fingers, if you ever seen that, somebody playing with a silver dollar, that's actually called grounding. It's very relaxing to play with that silver dollar. Well, why? Why is it relaxing to play with something heavy and metal in your hand? Why? Fidget spinners, that's actually grounding as well. The reason why fidget spinners help you relax and take your fidgeting away, and you're fidgeting and you feel better. I mean, the reason why these things work is because you're grounding. They have a lot of these fidget toys now for adults, and I doubt that most people realize that these fidget toys are just grounding. That's all. They're just grounding devices. Same as a silver dollar, playing with that in your hand as well. I had to go to a lot of classes to learn more about this grounding technique, but it really does work slightly. It does help. For somebody who shakes like me, I can never quite get the silver dollar to really go where I want, but it still works. As long as I drop it all the time, so after I drop it once, I just keep it in my hand. But um, fidget spinners are the same thing. You're just grounding yourself. That's why you get that sensation like you're more relaxed. That's why they call it a fidget spinner. But when I was a child, I did this too. I just didn't know what it was called or really what I was doing. I used to, like, for instance, this is kind of a weird, funny one. My brother gave me some tools, just some metal tools, a grabber, a screwdriver, stuff like that. And I put it in my pocket. And it wasn't like I was playing with it like a sword or anything. I would just hold it or keep it in my pocket. Well, I was grounding with that. When I kept it in my hand, I'm grounding. When I kept it in my pocket, I could stick my hand in my pocket and ground and play with the screwdriver. It was something I was doing and not realizing what I'm doing. But now, after studying for years, they call that grounding. They even have special devices out there for this, one of which is a fidget spinner. But they also have 100 more on Amazon, all different fidgets for adults. Just things that are metal and flip around, or metal dice that can, you can move around and roll, things like that. And in case I'm helping anybody else with their anxiety, in case anybody really gets help by me, it really does work. Not don't expect any miracles, but you will be better than before you were using it. You will feel a little better. And I highly suggest trying these very healthy, very safe techniques. They can be very helpful. Like I keep a silver dollar, and I even have it on a chain now. If I want to bring it to work, I can. Customers forget to scratch off the bottom of their tickets. We have a lot of these lottery coins that go missing, and then there's nothing to scratch with. So I keep the silver dollar on a chain now, and if I want to fidget with it, I can. It won't fall on the ground. And a lot of times a customer will forget to scratch the bottom of their ticket, and I'll scratch it for them and then ring it, so I don't have to dig through the penny jar just to scratch it. And yeah, I highly suggest trying grounding techniques. And I was doing these things holding on to objects as a child too. I would find these heavy objects that made me feel better a little, and I would hold on to them. Sometimes it was a screwdriver. Sometimes it could be a toy. It could be any stupid little item, but I would hold on to it. It had to be kind of metal and heavy. That's one of the things about these grounding techniques is you want a little weight to it. You want to be able to fidget with it. And by doing that, you have a little less anxiety. You have a little less stress. And a lot of people are struggling with sobriety should learn this technique as well. It can be helpful.